Sorry about that. Thank you, thank you. All right, Fremont.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please, then you will be able to. You are now in the host queue.
With the pig to a wolf, with the rat to a wolf, that's a real small snack. Yeah, niggas know that. Once you cross that line, he'll know.
Fremont, Fremont. Bring me on in, since you come around weekend. I'm ready to roll.
Niggas never had a cause. They thought it was because everybody in the gang and you ain't cool till you catch a body. Living in the hood, remember good times. Smoking on the black spin, good rhymes. Wish I could open up some cases. My dog, my dog, my dog.
Live and direct, Brother Jimmy.
Live and direct, heads up, eyes open, and fists clenched. Y'all know this is how we do this here. Welcome to another episode of Freedom On Radio here at Intellectual Radio. Let's get locked and loaded in the spirit of making history, taking history, and taping history, y'all. Y'all know they call in number 929-477-3785. Press 1 to get in with us. 929-477-3785. Press 1 to get in with us. February 1st, 2023. February 1st, 2023, with this comedy reference known as Black History Month. I guess it's the kickoff. Our position is that black people are on the verge of becoming history. You dig? Again, so we want to struggle to up the ante that, that we internalize this on a daily basis, saying, recognizing who we are. That in some senses, that may appear to be a bit idealistic. In other words, people say, I've seen something, a commercial or something, putting that contrast, like, it was asking, I think it was Morgan Freeman, and he was saying, he really offended with Black History Month, and he was asking, I forgot the 60 Minutes host, he said, your nationality, and he said Jewish, and he said, well, do you have that History Month, for just 1 month for that? And I think the deal is similar to some struggles when people talk about, like, even whether we talk about in the field of entertainment, comedy in particular. People say, well, white comedians can do this, and people come in, saying white actors, or white men or white women can engage, and you say, what's the issue? Our position is we are related to a realist as opposed to a racist, but the race contradiction can never be negated, particularly in this country. And to attempt to just come in and talk about any dynamic, any contradiction, whether it be comedy, whether it be, again, drug usage, how you have crime is viewed, or even if, in case in hand, we're talking about that of Black History Month, reference, acknowledging a particular people, it can't be put on the same table. Some people, like, say, well, everyone has the issues everything from even how the transportation here. You know, I'm using that very lightly. Even when people say, well, you know, even talking about, you know, America, the immigrants, so on and so forth. Even the discussion in regards to African people's presence here. So that's not some sort of bragging rights that I wish that we brag we talk that we like to have. You know what I'm saying? But just the fact that, you know what I'm saying, so we have to, in other words, cut to the chase, we have to seize the time that people can even acknowledge, you know, black people, you know, that's and point out why is that, why should that be acknowledged? It's we, you know, you've heard us assess on many occasions, it's embarrassing being oppressed, and many people attempt to, you know, evade it. And but the deal is, I think Sister Comrade Daphne had said one time before. She said, "No, Chairman Fred Jr. He don't run from trouble. He runs to it. We have to run. So the deal is to heighten these contradictions. Say no, we acknowledge that." One sister of mine, she may be tuning in. She said, "Chairman, I have an issue when you keep referencing yourself and your organization, with you in particular, as a last call for alcohol." And you know, she said, you leadership, we respect you, we appreciate you. You shouldn't be, even saying, equating yourself to that. And the struggle, it's not looking at myself as subjectively as an individual. It's putting in context of the reality of how do our people relate to struggle. How do the last call for alcohol, for those who not familiar, it's a term when people say, like, in the lounges, lounge about to close. Your mindset kind of kicks in a certain way, like, oh, who is that right there? Who is that? Who is that young man? Who is that young lady who's been here all the time? But they have the light shine. It seems a little more appealing because you're in the clincher. It's intense. Most people relate to us, and that's the reality. We have to sum it up, because if it weren't for the politics, if we took this personally, you would beat yourself up like, well, are we getting our flyers out, or this and that? But historically, like even members of the Panther Party, you know what I'm saying, those who, in some cases related to revolution. Some people talk about even the exhaustion of the different periods. They're talking about how Dr. King's assassination impacted them, and you know what I'm saying. So a lot of these processes, many people, have to go through, and it could be more than one occasion. Like I tell you, like it's certain. Your health has to be to a certain degree. You have to feel to a certain level. You say, wait a minute, I'm open for this. I'm open for this type of discussion now, so on and so forth. Live in Eric on Freedom Radio, February 1st, 2022. Black Panther Party Cub, and community condolences to continuous hits and losses that we as a people are impacted by on a day-to-day basis, in one form or another, one way or another, covertly or unovertly, you know what I'm saying, or overtly. And we say that, this is a system that needs and breeds the heart, souls, and minds of the people. Whether we want to talk about any dynamic, the healthcare, whether we want to talk about the straight-out case of police terrorism, chemical, biological warfare, it must be put in its correct political context. I want to extend our Black Panther Party Cub and community condolences. Comrade Craig, free them all, right back at you. His father, who just made a physical transition recently, and it's Craig Alexander on Facebook. So if y'all, we keep y'all abreast. However you gonna hope, we're gonna roll with it. The services, memorial, whatever. Somebody, I met his father through an occasion one time. We had the Triple C, for those not familiar, the Triple C, Children, Community, and Cubs program that the Black Panther Party Cubs implemented in the spirit of the Black Panther Party free breakfast program. And we had some dialogue, so on and so, and just got the call that his father had passed. Every day we reminded that there are no guaranteed tomorrows, and even he talks, Craig, we dialogue. I think it's important that we, in these moments of, mourning, that we able to touch down with each other, because again, the toll of life and death, the impact on all of us, and kind of like a saying, they say, if we look like what we've been through, we'd be some ugly people, but just if nothing else, to reach out for others, we do, what have you. And not just in regards to the monetary, just again that cause in particular, with death in general, anyone, that's not even human beings. You look at, there's a piece I was watching with the elephants. They talk about how they come back and mourn those spots. But our people in particular, and you have to always keep in context. Like you colonized, and let me touch on that word before I move forward. Colonized. I was having a discussion with the Saints the other day, and we was talking about something. We was talking about different entertainers and different how. And one entertainer, she said, "Well, no, Chairman, they grew up around so many grew up around all black people." And I said, "You think so?" And a particular artist she was talking about, I was saying, I was speaking, Lil Wayne was art. And I say, a lot of times we look at so many situations, whether it be death, life, race, in a reactionary sort of way. So in other words, just simply because they black skin, they're black, or even gender. This is a man, this is a woman. It's have a reactionary assessment, and colonize is. You literally, who has the mind, the mind and the inner workings, who's asking their definitions, their aspirations. It's like you hear different terms like the French initially colonized Louisiana. You can still see remnants of it. In Louisiana, you can still, whether we're talking the food, we're talking about the jargon, the lingo, the religious. The English, the Portuguese in Brazil, the Portuguese and the Dutch. The different dynamics. You still how like you look at them different food channels. You say, wow, where did this recipe come from? You can like literally tie different periods that time to what respective entity was colonized respective country. And you look at the continent of Africa, you can look at the different dynamics like the Gold Coast, Ivory Coast, and Cameroon. Cameroon is a Portuguese term for shrimp. You know what I'm saying? Cause the abundance amount of shrimp, and the different things that don't pop up. And I was talking about Lil Wayne. The impact. A lot of these they carry a line of majority of these entertainers and politicians that we provided. It's like a sleeper cell. It carries their definitions of beauty. Like I said, you look at the picture when he was talking about the young white lady he was going to marry. You can see the respect that he had. How he viewed her. Looking to the terms that they say in their songs, and they'll be communicating their respective lines to generations to come, and you can it can be like a conversation that's happening right in your face. It can be correlated to like this show Sex Crimes SVU, and they caught one of the pedophiles, and the pedophile made a deal to communicate to capture other like a group of pedophiles, and then he was showing them how he can talk to children right in the face. Of their parents, and the child can pick up what he's seeing. To the parents, it seems so benign. It's like it's something similar, just as simple as, do you want a cone, an ice cream cone? But however, this tone is what was related. There's a tone, there's what you can pick up, like even when you train animals, your body language. Sometimes you can intentionally relay it. You don't intentionally relay it. It can be the same geographical location, but it can impact the Dominican Republic as opposed to Haiti different ways. Who colonizes them? So the deal is to recognize that. And this kind of goes to the subject case at hand. We're going to be talking about the case of Tyree Nichols and so many other cases, the up the ante. Well, we had to seize the time where people, and some will still struggle to relate to that. You've heard us be critical and to the shortcomings of simple simple race nationalism. In other words, just being black. You know what I'm saying? This is, and it's like a certain period, certain periods of school, grammar school, elementary school, it may suffice. But then there's certain periods, you know what I'm saying, when the ante is being up, you know what she said, where it holds no weight. You say, okay, now how do you address this? You can see people literally being dumbfounded. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, black police involved in this. The politics, how the media covers it, so on and so forth. We're going to be talking about that. I want y'all to call in. What is it? 929-477-3785. Press 1 to get in. Getting a lot of calls from an interview did with a brother, Snap G and Beats, Hood Hierarchy. Shout him out. Matter of fact, Paris, someone if y'all can put that link on all our different social media and repost it, get it out. People say, why was such a good interview? Is he a journalist? No, it's political. He has some frame of reference of what a revolutionary was, what a revolutionary is. Who Chairman Fram Jr. is. A lot of people come in, have their own assessment, and we don't see such a product come out. But if you can, put that link up. Damn, I didn't bring no coffee with me. Y'all forgive me. I was supposed to been today in Memphis, Tennessee. I mean, I got more council flights and more. It was back to back. And we supposed to be down there, but I definitely go without saying. Said anyway. Our condolences to the community, to the Nichols family, but also to the community, to the people. As we said, the people's pain reflects. People say, well, I don't know why, this is impacting me. I didn't know him personally, so on and so forth. It should impact you. It should impact you. And we got the science, the dynamic, I mentioned earlier about even death, how elephants deal with death. So you see them walk around certain spots, and even if the elephant, the corpse of the elephant is gone, elephants still go back to the certain same spots. The science of oppression, like we said, dismiss it. Let's struggle to be analytical about what makes what's the commonality of two men who to my knowledge did not know each other. Something about George Floyd and Tyree Nichols. What's the odds of those words of the calling for mama? Your last words. What's like you talk. There's a science to people say like when certain functions that happen, your last move, what kicks in, what dopamine, the trigger that call for mama, you hear different stories. People say, they seen their life flashing before them. Seeing the eyes of Tyree Nichols, and there's certain things you can even in what they call fight or flight. You pick up on certain feelings. You can just aside from all the context clues, and I say context clues, so the police are asking for your license, and well, first of all, the fact of being black, period, through the door. People say, well, why would you run? If you haven't done nothing, and I know that sounds crazy to some of us, and it should, but these are some of the sentiments that people, but the scientifically, like other communities, they lay out, they correlate to certain things in their community or certain situations that happen to them scientifically. Well, this is why our community relates to this. This is why we have an issue with this term. This is why we don't allow this. The victims of Nazi Germany. There's a term, one of the matches, never again, and but they point out the different details, the notches that led up to some prior and the pre Auschwitz, Dachau and Auschwitz and Nazi Germany. In fact, I spoke about before how Jerry Springer, comedian / politician, Jerry Springer was doing an interview with William Shatner. And Jerry Springer was talking about how his grandmother was a victim in Nazi Germany in the gas chambers, and she said something to the effect that she recalled the movies, the comedies, the jokes, the propaganda machine, and Minister of Propaganda Grobe and others had put out, and how it softened the blow, prior to the gas chambers. And she had said to Jerry Springer, Be careful on how anyone makes jokes about your people. Be real cautious and watch that. You know what I'm saying? Be real. In other words, comedy is political. Comedy is political. And so when you hear different, you know what I'm saying, you look at stuff that people take lightly, it's just a joke, you know what I'm saying, the terms we use, and you become immune to certain dynamics, and set the stage, or be a precursor for the straight out blatant attack. Y'all feel free to call in 929-477-3785. Your thoughts on Tyree Nichols, your thoughts on Lance McClain in Gulfport, Mississippi. Your thoughts on his brother Raheem, make sure I get the right name. We're talking about also Mississippi. There's a mobilization this Saturday on the flyer. So make sure that's this Saturday, Mississippi. This is, I wish I didn't have to run these cases up like this, but this is happening. I think I harken back to one of the speeches that Chairman Fred said, we got such and such locked up, we got such and such locked up. You say, man, y'all come on down to support the campaigns, drop whatever resources or support you can to 2350 West Madison. That was the Black Panther Party headquarters for Illinois chapter. Basically assessing, acknowledging that they vamping on us. These are, these are not just, just picking names. The commonality. This is, in fact, you would be better off saying who has not been attacked by the police. And go back to what I was talking about earlier. The science. They talk about certain dynamics that happen. You know, saying when you in fear, certain it's a science to even attraction. Like a lot of times we get this simplistic assessment, like, oh, I get nervous around her. Or you like him. You like the lady like the guy. You got butterflies in your stomach. You say a term like that. But there's actually a scientific analysis to that. A certain excitement. You know what I'm saying? A certain that triggers certain dynamics, dopamine in your brains and certain things that impacts your ability to speak and move. It's just crazy as it sounds. And see, I can engage in discussions like that. And in fact, I remember I was on the West Coast and his brother was kind of real hesitancy about even astrology. And you know what I'm saying? Because it was brought to me in a real abstract sort of way. But one brother was breaking. They talking about the water in your body, the science. I said, I can relate to that. Now you got my ear. You know what I'm saying? You talking about everything, even the physical, the dynamic of physical makeups of individuals. So even our noses, you know what I'm saying? With people just that's how black folks is. No, you look at you put in context the geography, the sun, and so the nostrils, what it's able to do. You look at dogs, certain breeds of dogs, the coat, what climate do they historically come from? You know what I'm saying? So even the oppression and hunger, with hunger, you see in police stations on 48 hours, how they starve you out. Then the police comes with a can of pop. What triggers what in the brain? What on music? What what dynamics? What what beats? How what make you ready to turn the club up? You know what I'm saying? I can't say with this generation. There used to be a time when you hear certain songs, you're like, man. You hear certain songs. Let me take another chord too, because they might be trying to cut me out. You hear certain songs, and you turn on the music or the calendar, certain mood. You know what I'm saying? And what dynamics? What science? What's the analysis with this? You know what I'm saying? The dynamic of the odds. You know what I'm saying? And these are just two brothers that we know that we had that we are fortunate and unfortunate to hear. Again, fortunate and unfortunate to hear those words, those brothers saying "mama," which is the dynamics. We have debates in the different respective communities. Who they say first, mama or daddy? You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? What's the first words and what's you look for what's significant about that? What's significant about that? What is triggered? You know what I'm saying? What dynamics? What life, what triggers, I tell you, I'll tell you this situation, a war story, something that happened today. I'm talking about that. But first of all, we got any callers and cues, Sister Comrade?
Grandma, Brother Chairman, no callers and cues. Callers, if you'd like to come into queue, please press 1. Grandma.
929-477-3785. Press 1, please get in with us, y'all. Check this out. I'm a little warm. I ain't gonna complain because, man, it's
Where's my
always.
brother Chip?
Fremont's come in.
Yeah, call us 504-617 on the line, Fremont.
Welcome to Fremont Radio. This is political. Y'all do no commercials. Try to cut this out. Fremont, welcome to Fremont Radio.
Hello?
Yes, welcome to Fremont Radio.
Chairman?
Fremont.
This is Byron Cole. How you doing?
I'm well. Let's see how you feel, bro. How you feel? Welcome to Fremont Radio.
I'm feeling good. It's good to see you and support you. I jumped on and invited a lot of people from New Orleans to make sure they tuning in.
Right on. So what's y'all close down, y'all down, how far y'all from you president, you down New Orleans?
Yeah, look, we got a few on. I see now watching from the city. I done invited a few. I see Queen Dealer from Oakland on here too. I invited her. It's a few people on here.
Right on.
But look, I wanted to address something. You're talking about the situation with the young brother in Memphis, right?
Mm-hmm. Also that case, we also Elijah McClain and Gulfport, and help me out. What's the other? Someone help me out. The other brother in Mississippi. That it's a mobilization for Saturday. But that in general, police terrorism. But your thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay, your thoughts. Tyree Nichols. Let's go with that.
Well, before we go with that, let me say this. Let me say that, there were some killings in America that we didn't understand the full impact of. And a lot of them needed to be addressed singularly, right? But Jordan Davis was one. That was a kid just gunned down, a suburban black kid, parents with great jobs, right? So we knew it wasn't about being a thug after Jordan. And Freddie Gray, we actually had the district attorney from Baltimore admit nationally that when Freddie Gray was being accosted and while he was being murdered, that he, in fact, was guilty of no crime.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to ask you, Chairman, because you know what Bible that we subscribe to, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to take a chapter straight out of the text from your father, right? I hear you reiterate all the time that your father, and we know he said he was big on structure, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying that structure separated people from the bullshit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to ask you, with all of these videos that we've seen repeatedly, all these national crime scenes that I've been on with you, myself, and, our parents have, they started this way before us. How much of the stifling that we are experiencing now do you think comes from a lack of structure based on true merit, people's actual track record of service?
How much? Repeat the last part of your question again. How much?
I ain't seen the video about Tariq.
And the question is what? How much do I credit? What? One more time, please. How much do I credit?
I'm asking you because I haven't seen the Tariq video. I refuse to watch any of that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, how much of what's happening to us now is a product, a manifestation of us not having a structure within our community based on true merit from, a person's true track record of being a true people's servant? You think there's a correlation there?
That's a major aspect of. The fact that that's said a number of occasions. That's one of America's policies, is to create chaos and then restore order. that's a major aspect. You have, and I mentioned earlier. I don't know if you was on earlier for like the introduction. I was in my. A lot of times we have a reactionary assessment of things. Saying a lot of locations in particular. A race. People like even with what is defined, that of black people, and there are certain periods of time and certain walks of life that can suffice with just saying, okay, they're black. It's like I guess we can say similar to like let's go with the like certain places you can say, okay, that's cattle. That's cattle. Then there's certain periods you say, wait a minute, but all the time the slaughterhouse must and is able to distinguish the steers from the bull, and in fact, even the different dynamics of a bull, the Cadillac or the different breeds of bull. We are told this whole thing about we're not a monolithic people. There's no definition for being black. There's what is on a whole, for all practical purposes, what happened to black people and how black people are viewed. There's a certain experience that even I tell people, I say that even people who are so detached and have such a disdain for the black community, such as Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, he even talks about his experiences. With that black skin. Now, and a lot of times how people assess it is different ways they assess it, but that's a major aspect of it. I want to proceed cautiously with with some other dynamics I want to talk about too, and so people don't take it subjectively. Like even the dynamics, like people say, okay, well, like people, what's the big issue? What's the big concern about? They're talking about the fraternities that they were part of, so on and so forth. The deal is, with black people, whether we talk about it's a saying that the Japanese say about karate. They say karate is really actually an African art form that the Japanese have just preserved it. For people who are under attack, who talking about being colonized, speaking, you may look like a person may be in Vietnam. There was cases, in fact, New Orleans. Matter of fact, I remember this. In New Orleans, even in fact, your mother was talking about the dynamic, the particular Vietnamese merchants that were placed down, in the stores, and the ones who had who can be correlated with the drug dynamic and everything that was being flooded through the black community. It's not a blanket assessment on the Vietnamese community. However, it can be tied back, as you've seen with people like Giap and Ho Chi Minh say, wait, this is the particular people who and you go back to their childhood, who were detached and no connection to an identity. Comedian Flip Wilson, who Richard Pryor, that's how Richard Pryor even got on the mainstream TV show, through Flip Wilson, and then Richard Pryor even had one in on him. But Flip Wilson had said something to the effect one time that after he made his first $1 million, he knew he was not a nigger no more, but he did not know what he was. And in so many cases, I had a horse. Bear with me on this. Let me. This it's kind of coincides discussion at hand. I stopped in the store early today. I'm in the store. It's one of those little hood corner stores, whatever, and grabbing a stocking cap, and I see this young lady and young guy. They come in, and the lady, I couldn't figure what her facial features, but who it reminded me of. But she was talking, and she was talking to this young man. She was on the phone, and she was loud. She was, I'll be wrong. I'm the last one to crack on. I know I'll be loud on the phone too. But it was, she was telling him to grab certain items out the store for him, and there was no eye contact or nothing. and his whole he was like, and it was broken. And it's one thing to see, like, you know, what struck me about him being like he broken, how young he was, how young he appeared, how young they both appeared, and it was so cutting.
Yeah.
It was so cutting. And she was, you know, talking. She said, and she was going off, and she get this, get that, and then even to something to the effect that he's like, you want all that for your hair? And she said, you get this or pay my bills. Which one you want to do? And this was loud, you know. And I stepped back, and hold on, let me set the whole setting. The music, and I'm using that term loosely. I don't want to say what artist I think it was. His voice sounded, but they were talking about it was like playing in the store, and say if you on your you said if you on your period, it was also a private discussion. I mean, that we would think would be private. It was playing, and I noticed even the young lady who worked behind the counter, she was young. You know what I'm saying? When I say young, 17, 18, and it was like a horror movie. I'm watching all these different dynamics. You know what I'm saying? And then I come out and I'm seeing. I said, I'm curious on this. So I said, I watched when they came out, and I watched when they got in the vehicle, and I watched her getting everything down the driver's seat, and it was ironic. I thought about this old movie, Bronx Tale, and the guy make a joke. He said, "You take the lady, how you know she the one? You see, and she reach over and open your door for you, whatever, you know." And I seen just how not. I mean, this is like in the hood too. You know, you got your head got to be on the swivel when you get in the car. She on her phone. She wasn't even looking to make sure she got in the car. I'm watching the whole thing, and also his physical features. I'm seeing that like you would think is what the young cats call like a hitter, and I know all this toxicity is going to be formed. It's going to be released. You know what I'm saying? It's in one way or another. You know what I'm saying? And to come in a relationship, to come in. To deal with, I just to come out and deal with any situation, to be black, to be any dynamic, you know what I'm saying, without an identity, without clearing who you are. And especially coming up on that front line, I said that front line, at one point, at some point, we have to deal with the most aggressive, the one that really brings people the grips that they have to address certain issues is the question of the police. In fact, the Panther Party would say, we're talking about the demagogic politicians, aberrations, greedy businessmen, and the fascist paid cops. What was the most? I got feedback coming in. Is that me? What was the most in your face? And in so many cases, we see at the end where people have no identity. You know what I'm saying? Of that, but that again, not to be long-winded, but to go to the heart of the question, that's of course, not of course, but that is a major ingredient. That of, you know what I'm saying, of people with no structure, no identity, and that's a necessary aspect of being colonized to come in, and we at the stage again where people say now a disdain, and also for structure, and also to be infused with an arrogance to say, well, I can be whoever I want to be. Like you see the jokes now on social media that somebody had a joke. They said the police pulled them over and said, well, I identify as being white then, you know. And the colonized community in particular, a lot of times their distinguishment is not laid out. They can attempt to do, relate. That's we see that in many cases. Attempt to relate to do the same thing, and then a reality check happens. You know, there's a case right now with there's a young child who is saying, even I know this is a sensitive subject to people, how with the sex change, and however the state, the jail is placing this child in a men's prison, and you see. It's simply like, where where other communities, kind of like I talk about the correlation with, Kim Kardashian, all the activities that she engaged in, and we've seen that, Lawrence Fishburne's daughter with the film, the different treatment, or the lack of attention that went down with it, and this is something that, it's not, a lot of people, when you cry on the blues, we can do the same thing. It's embarrassing being oppressed. We have to acknowledge that. That, and some places have the fortune and I'm gonna say unfortunate to be unfortunate also, to at least acknowledge that this is who you are, and some like you can see that some people get like a shock. I was joking with some comrades earlier. Matter of fact, the comrade Daphne, that we can imagine those police, those even how the media covered it. We can imagine those 5 police literally stepping around the camera like they finna take somebody else's picture, and I can imagine them telling them, no, you're behind the camera, no, you're being locked up, and you like even the politics of the photo, look at even how it's cropped. You don't see the hands and all that. This, as opposed to the white police that came out later, you know what I'm saying? Even with the ward in his hand, you'll see the hands, the human factors of it. And this is, so I know I kind of stray with the point, but go to the heart of your question, that plays a major role. We still on? Fremont, the caller still in? We still in?
Fremont, but Chairman, this call dropped off.
Oh, okay. Okay, Fremont, right on. Good question. Okay, yeah. So keep it. Oh man, let me get a charger for this Instagram. If Instagram falls off, y'all bear with me as we say cub with us. Y'all make sure y'all still we live on Facebook and we live on StreamYard. And I got to do some investigation on that. What was that? Restream something. Something that I did an interview yesterday. Hood Hierarchy. I like the way they had to set up. Any more calls in queue? 929-477-3785. Press 1. I don't know. I might be getting south soon, but I posed me down there today, y'all. But your thoughts on so even the summations. But that I don't know. That was we just talked. Caller. We were talking about the whole dynamic about what impact of that destabilizing structure. How does it impact us? And if I wasn't clear on that, y'all feel free to tap in with us and we'll follow up. Free them all, everyone. Yes, indeed. Tyree Nichols, Elijah McClain. Free them all, Sister Conrad.
I'm sorry, we have a caller in queue. Caller 1-2-451. Fremont.
Fremont, welcome to Fremont Radio.
Hey, brother.
Welcome. Who we have online with us?
It's Jeremy.
Jeremy?
Yeah, this is Jeremy. I'm the baby cousin of Elvin. He friends with Deputy Field Marshal Giovanni Dawson. So I'm the bike dude. You came down to Minneapolis one time with my homegirl. She threw an event together just so we can highlight Malcolm X and all the Black Power that we've been having since, pretty much the beginning of time. But you met me then. I'm the dude who be riding on the bike in Minneapolis with the big old bag that say Black Lives Matter on the back. I'm that guy. Okay. Well, welcome Fremont Radio. Get my memory, my memory lapse to kick in with me. Work, Cub with me. What's happening? What's on your mind? You down in George Floyd land? Talk to us. Give us a little background of climate. What it's like? It all go down from the beginning. Well, I'm a Chicagoan, like birth certificate and everything.
Okay.
Right now, I go to Kennedy King College. I went back there, and it's black and black. Like, I was so happy that when I went back to Chicago to go to college and everything, it was like I already got done protesting this one college inside of Minnesota, right, like Minneapolis, right outside of Minneapolis in the suburb. And I took the emergency medical response class because you know how the movement is. I was like, there's always, something, but I was like, I want to intentionally equip myself with certain things to have, like, I was going to equip myself with credibility. You figure it is. So, but yeah, so when I went to Kennedy King, I was like, it's a black college. I was like, it's blackity black up here. I didn't have to deal with none of the twitching, none of the lack of organization that was at this one college I went to and everything like that. But I'm back home. But I wanted to mention something far as what I was speaking about with one of the elders down in Minneapolis. He married to Nikema Levy Armstrong, the civil rights attorney, and she's the former president of Minneapolis NAACP. And it relates to I was like, yo, we both know that, you know, if you black within an organization that is predominantly ran by these crackers, you have to, being that the difference is not enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, you literally have to like make a difference. And I think it goes back to what you were saying earlier about, like, we have to provide a structure. And but I wanted to ask you, is it good to, like, am I doing my duty when because I be running into a lot of these cops, and back in the day, since I'm a cyclist, I run into a lot of stuff. Like, I have access publicly that a lot of people don't be, like, they're not there to speak up because they might be occupied or they might not be, like, you know, in open air like I am. But is it good to suggest to these cops, the black cops, I ain't talking about these crackers, I'm talking about specifically black cops, am I doing my duty to suggest to them, because I be like, y'all, these things that y'all should be creating is a no-brainer. Y'all should have already thought about it. You shouldn't have this nigga you shouldn't have me come up to you and suggest it to you. But is it good when I suggest to them to create a black police union, or should they already have done it themselves and I'm just wasting my breath?
Film on these.
Chairman?
Yes. A black. I'm with you. Say that term again that you said. Create a black what again?
A black police union.
Oh, black police union.
Specifically, a union with totally black within the terroristic occupation, which the terroristic organization, which is the police. You know, pretty much the hands of the oppressor. Pretty much the weapon of the is the police. Like,
yeah. Out of curiosity, what would that entail? Like I mean, like, you know, like you hear words like union, you think like, you know, workers' right. You know what I'm saying? Like I just had a flashback to something real quick. You seen the documentary, The Assassination of Chairman Fred? You ever saw that?
No. Can you say it one time? I'm going to write it down.
You ever? Oh, well, some people incorrectly call it the murder of Fred Hampton, but it's the assassination of Chairman Fred. And it's one of my it's a piece where Chairman Fred is doing talking about the political education of the Black Panther Party, and he's having dialogue with another organization, and they're talking about a credit union, and they talking about, you know, we doing getting the credit union, you know, this and that, you know, and they run down this and that, and Chairman Fred was saying, I need to see something about your political education. What do you know, credit? And they're like, do you know the credit union was? And, you know, they ran down this, and Chairman Fred said, yeah, you know, people go, they go.
Yeah, credit unions when everybody puts money in, but everybody gets money on the back end type of thing.
Yes. Chairman Fred's critique, Chairman Fred's.
All the people who have bank accounts with money from.
Now, from face value, that sounds like a right on thing. You know what I'm saying? You know, people just give money. So, and something that a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, that it's like we talk about our communities negating that of a counterinsurgency. You follow what I'm saying? It's like, you know,
right.
I mean, there's a war being waged on us. You follow what I'm saying? And we're not even talking, before we even go into discussion about the police. You know what I'm saying? With and also, you look at I think it's important. We think it's important that you look at you talk to people, you talk about countries, the premise, the birth. You follow what I'm saying? Like, you know, the inception of certain things. You know, like, you know. I want to talk about that, you guys, with the police, with the inception of the police, the purpose of the police. But back to this, the credit union part, where Chairman Fred say, what he say, okay, where is your political education part? You know what I'm saying? Part of that. You know, and they would come on saying, well, you know, people do this and that. It sounded real good. Chairman Fred said, it's such a important part of our work. A cat got to go through 6 weeks of political education before they even can consider themselves a member of the Black Panther Party. And you know, there's back and forth, and this, you know, they said, well, we don't do a lot of talking because they'll say what you say is a foregone conclusion. And Chairman Fred said, well, the reason why I do a lot of talking is there are no foregone conclusions. Out of curiosity, what would it entail? You said about this credit union that the police would have, and you said it would just be for black police. What? I mean,
yeah, really, I was just telling them, like, really, I was telling the police to gang up and be black within there, like.
You tell them to do what?
Like, literally, because.
No. What you say? You tell them to do what?
I wanted them to intimidate recycling industry. People have said, and actually in Minneapolis, I helped start like the first black-owned bike repair service. So people was like, I met this one dude. This was over in North Minneapolis. That's like this is part of Minneapolis and everything with black population. And really, what I did was I literally just stopped fucking with the crack. I'm that cursing out, Chair. And I just stopped.
Oh, no problem. There's no problem. There's no problem for him on radio. There's no problem.
Yeah, so I left, and then what I ended up doing was I started handing out flyers. I was like, look, I know everything as far as the bike industry go. And then plus, the thing is that they want to make you look as if you're the difference. I mean, want to make you look as if like they're inducing diversity, like they want to use you as a place sitter. But in all actuality, I was whooping their ass on my dear grandfather's grave. I was up in there. I'm talking about all the white boys was getting like flooded by me in Minneapolis. I'm talking about on Lake Street. I'm running up on them with my bike shoes, like in the middle of the window, like everything. But what I did is that I kept the connection with the white bike community, but I kept the connection just to flood them, just to put blackness on display. And then following that, I was like, I need to start doing what I seen in Humboldt Park, because I did everything following me leaving Humboldt Park when I went down to Chicago, and I worked at the Cycle Urbano off of the division in California, and it was between the flags. So when I left back, when I seen the flags, I was working with the Puerto Ricans. I was like, Boricua, they was running in talking about this how Boricua mechanic does it. So I'm like, oh, word. So what I ended up doing, I was like, yo, we have to create an area in a space that's literally, white people, these crackers can come up and try to walk around, but they cannot, they have to stay dead. Cannot do anything outside of, they cannot be in a position of management, because then too many people have seen these crackers be the preventers of helpful organizations. See, a lot of people, they now from Chicago, like I am. So they don't have a direct connection to the Rainbow Coalition, to black leaders building food programs, black leaders having community gardens, to black everything. So when it came down to it, I started organizing. I started approaching the police after Jamar Clark died in 2016. I started getting more into like, yo, I cannot get all my brothers like in tune if they always looking over their shoulder for one of these cracker police. So what ended up going down was,
not to interrupt you, but a question, like especially at the time with it wasn't all Negro pigs, you know what I'm saying? But we see, to my understanding, I think majority.
they all pigs, like
No, I'm saying, but in the case right at the time right now, with the case of Tyree Nichols in particular, how would that be? I mean, what? How just out of curiosity, how would you grapple with that? You know what I'm saying? With that, I mean,
I think that came from the fact that these niggas. I think it came from the fact that these niggas was feeling tough.
Okay, so how would he? I'm trying to figure out. Okay, why would helping them armless or them getting organized with a union inside? What? I'm trying to get a little more insight. What's the purpose? Is it health benefits for them? Free dental care. They get lawyers when they beat people. Help me out. What's the motive? I'm a little.
I use the established term, but really I was never looking at it as far as exactly what you're saying, Chairman. I was never looking at it as far as an establishment for worker rights. I didn't want the police to have worker rights. I was looking out for the black police. I was looking out for black interests as a whole when I was telling that. The reason why I said I was asking for your advice is it good for me to approach these niggas, approach these brothers and these sisters because in a way I feel like I don't want my energy to be wasted, because I'm like, do y'all not know the power of black structure, like you were saying? And I think a lot of times they end there as a black entity, but like they're not exercising their power. They're not exercising their black power to the point where we have the DNA, the first human of our blood, so we are powerful regardless.
Well, who would they? Okay, what for? Okay, what I? Okay, like I mean, like even the term police. I mean, like you know, you like. I mean, this kind of. I mean, who would they? What?
I be telling them like, won't y'all gang up?
Gang with who? I mean, with whose interest? I mean, like it's actual fraternity. You know, I mean, it's actually there's actual FOP, a fraternal order police. What I mean, like I'm saying, some people look for they need communal bonding with other people. That I mean, they have. I mean, this is. I mean, what do you? I mean, they are armed. They are equipped with a gang, for lack of better terms, that backs their. I mean, What, I mean, why they have? They usually under normal circumstances they are able, they are allowed and encouraged to move as they will. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, this is a time right now where the conscience are being heightened. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? There's certain dynamics in place now where you see. You know what I'm saying? This is like an aberration for how they had normal work. You know, usually how it works is, and we still haven't been to court, none of this shit though. But they are equipped with a gang or a team that provides them the uniform, the clothes, the food, they can they relationships and parties together. What?
They got homies and homies. It's the same way when I had.
So you say you get them some more homies? I'm talking, what purpose? I mean,
kids like Christians and stuff.
Like what? Right, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so what? That's what I'm saying. What? This, I mean, right? This is that many of them have this attachment. So I'm trying to figure out what is. So what are you saying? They should leave that and come to. I mean, what?
My vision, or what is my vision? My vision with a black police union. My vision with a black police union, or more so, my vision with black unity within like a youth form, is to use that as a way to be intentional, because it won't work unless they're intentional. By the way, these niggas, it's the same way with Cycle. When I first started, I had a black man at that nonprofit bike in North Minneapolis. As soon as I started, I was like, yo, I want to create the Minnesota Black Riders Association. That nigga told me, I ain't gonna stunt. The nigga was fat, nerdy, and lame, and we thought he was gay. I ain't gonna hold you. So thing was, but he was bullied when he was probably younger, and he probably, you know how it is, like the niggas in the nerves complex. But he was probably like ostracized and like bullied, being told that he sound white when he talked. So really, inside of him, he probably had that little grudge against his own people because he felt trauma. You know what I mean? He felt bitter because he felt pushed away. But what he told me was, as soon as I started telling him. And it worked in the end. By the way, what I did worked. No matter what the detractors, still, my legacy is still inside of Minneapolis. I don't give a damn what these people do. Without me, y'all would not have known how to be intentionally black and still love that part in conjunction with, like, something that these crackers always try to.
Did you experience him being black under contested conditions? It's like, what I mean by that is,
what?
I don't know if you tuned in during the whole show.
Yeah, I want them to be black underneath all conditions.
Oh, on all conditions. Okay, now. I don't know. That's not happening. That's not happening. You probably should appreciate when people.
It started.
Excuse me.
It started in a way.
Excuse me. A lot of people, if they could take their skin off. Believe me, if a lot of people could take their skin off. Do you agree? If they could actually take the black skin off and move around, they'll go with that, right? But if they could actually take black skin off, if they could take it off, do you agree that a lot of people would do that? Do you agree?
Man, I think a lot of people they allow it to become a habit, and when that habit.
If people had the choice, as a matter of fact, we don't have to speak hypothetically. We can see. I mean, man, the looks. I mean, how people. I mean, are fighting not to identify with being black. But let me say this, because I'm going to get this other call for this phone pass up. The stakes are so high that the deal is, a lot of times people say, Chairman, maybe you may be divisive. No.
Yeah, I think people are not willing to sacrifice, and that was one of the things. Now people are not willing to sacrifice.
Okay, once you acknowledge that, once you, and some people will tell you that, once you acknowledge that, You saying you still want to try to talk to them to become get something like a black union, right? That's you saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really,
Okay.
them to do what the elders and the ancestors been doing.
Who did?
Is
The elders and ancestors?
create, it's literally just not just create, but retain black power. You know?
Okay.
When the nigga called me a militant,
Yeah.
back in 2015 or whatever.
Some places it's a revolutionary leap to see just black faces, right? Some places it's not no you can I mean there's some places where you have you know what I'm saying, where you can see black faces. It's not no big thing, you know what I'm saying? But it does not mean they they align with black people. And I'm a real big proponent.
My grandmama's on 67th and Morgan.
Say it again.
I'm home in Chicago. My grandmama's on 67th. I said when I'm home in Chicago, my grandmama's on 67th and Morgan.
Okay.
And so, my college is right down the street. And then there's John's Hardware Store. The first black-owned bike shop I ever seen in my life is when I went back home. And I left Minneapolis. I went back home, and it was John's Hardware Store and bike shop. John, he be letting me harass him. But you know how happy I was when I was like, I went on my phone, I popped my phone up, and I was talking to homeboy, he Ojibwe, and his daddy from Chicago, other from Minnesota, and she Ojibwe, indigenous. And I was like, bro, it's the first black on bike shop I've seen. Boy, we in here now. We about to flex. And then so.
Hey, my brother, all due respect. All due respect. It's cold red, right? I mean, it's beautiful. We can see some images of some black business, so on and so forth. The lines of demarcation are being drawn. It's you know what I'm saying. It's a war. It's war on our people, man. You know what I'm saying. I appreciate the call, man. Stay in contact with us, man. Free them all. Right on. I'm gonna go try to get a charge real quick. But if you get any more calls in queue.
Come into queue.
I'll be right back. Try to get an iPhone charge real quick. Charge. Give me one something real quick. Y'all forgive me my charge. I might lose this charge. Any more questions? Tap in with me though. We want to tune in, please. Like, okay, right on. Make sure you there. Yeah, we done surpassed certain discussions. We know, yeah, stakes too high. Trying to tune in. I need a charge. iPhone charge. I can't believe this here. Might lose y'all on Instagram, but not tune in on YouTube Live. YouTube Live. No callers in queue. Don't forget where I was going. I can't get this combobulated out. I can't believe I ain't bring that charge.
How about the Kevin?
Huh? No callers?
We have Sister Enesh in queue.
Okay, welcome to Freedom on Radio.
Hello.
Yes, how you doing? Welcome to Freedom on Radio. Hello.
How you doing?
I'm well, and you?
I'm doing good. I'm calling from New Orleans, and I was listening in, and
welcome.
You brought up something, and it was very closely, but I wanted to kind of expound on it. You can hear me, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
said something about the fraternity. And for me, as it dealt with the murder of Tyree Nichols and finding out that not only the officers who did this, the police who did this was black, they were in those fraternities. And we know within that particular structure, the psychology and the science, like you was bringing up earlier, you know, what is all of that about as far as all those dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
When we look at fraternities, and again, I know some of the history and everything, but when we look at that as an identity structure where people join it, and I'm not sure because I'm not familiar too much with all of that because it never was my thing when I was in college. Because I was the type of person, I didn't feel like I had to necessarily join anything to formulate my identity. I always had a deep sense within me that I needed to do that on my own, and if that included me being a part of several different things and organizations and movements, I always felt internally that that was okay to make up who it is that I am today, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I never ascribed to any type of absolutism as it relates to any type of organization. But nevertheless, within that particular structure, when we're talking about fraternity, there's a violent piece, a violent element as it relates to hazing of one another. So, you know, the people who are coming in the hazing and the beatings and the stuff that goes along with that. So, in discussion about science of what it is that's being reinforced during those particular activities,
yes,
and how it kind of becomes embedded in like your DNA, your genes, and it's, you know, it's
yes,
oppressive, and I don't know. I mean, you know, and also my thoughts just wanted to bring up as well, when you were talking about the whole mama thing, he yelled out for his mama, and, you know, just even with the officers, with the self-hate that we know that is there, them working for capitalistic, oppressive, all of those different things.
yes.
It made me think about the book by Amos Wilson, The Developmental Psychology of the Black Child. Might be a little off with the title. It
Yeah. Oh, you in the right ball field. I know. Yeah.
It made me think about the conspiracy to destroy black boys. Now we need to talk about girls because the girls is the new men. Oh my God, I'm living in New Orleans right now. These women raising the children.
Yeah.
See, that's one of the things that I'm saying about, you know, in New Orleans as it relates to the structure that Brother Byron Cole was talking about. It's one of the things that I discussed down here when they're talking about the crime rate and they're talking about the children. Yeah, but think about it. Right here in New Orleans, we're talking about people who have gone through Katrina, gone through the pandemic. Our criminal element here in New Orleans is so generational. We still have people that's killing people because their daddies killed each other. Get it? It's deeper than the street. It's deeper than the neighborhoods and all the cliques or whatever. It's deep. So at the end of the day, you know, the Katrina babies and stuff like that, their parents, they're raising the children. And if we have a culture with equal audience where every single day of the week you got going out, you have everything, there's no structure. Every single day of the week there's something to do as it relates to partying.
Yes. I'm here. Yeah.
It's no.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
No doubt about it. Yeah.
Everybody wants to talk about the children.
Everybody want to say it again, sister.
Children and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, who at home raising the children?
Yeah.
No structure.
Real talk.
It made me think about all of those things as it relates to like Amos Wilson and, you know, the fraternities, that whole violence element. Who taught us and why is that necessary?
Yeah.
Why is it necessary to have hazing in a form of beating?
Yeah.
You can't. Why are we still doing that? Why are we doing that? So, you know, all of those different things, I like that you brought up the science.
Yes.
Because, you know, all of the tools and all of the answers, we already have that. But like you said, political education and healing and dealing with our trauma and all of that and putting our egos to the side. I don't know. I just don't even know what the answers are anymore. I just wanted to say that. I can't really see the show by me being on the phone, but I hope I said enough for you to expound on that, and I'm going to go ahead on and drop.
Right, show you right on to the 504 folk, you know. Now, yeah, matter of fact, we were going to get down that way early March, back down that way. Comrade Coordinator Chewy Clark just talked to him earlier today. We're going to get back down there, but right on for the call. Let me see if I can, I'm just hope this,
But definitely when I drop, please expound on some of the things that I did say as it relates to the fraternities, because
yes.
I hear people's thoughts on that, for real, because I want to know, why is we doing it? What is the purpose of that?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Right on, sister. Right on. And make sure you stay tuned in with us. Right on. Right on. I was told.
Y'all later.
For sure. Right on. Show you right. Fremont, thank you for the call. Just reiterate what the sister just called in. I mentioned earlier briefly about, you know what I'm saying, some of the points about some of the fraternities. And I mentioned earlier in the second call about even the terms. I thought we missed certain terms, like the police itself. There's a fraternity order of police. And certain communities can afford the luxury to engage in different entities or groups or whatever. We coming through the door in the deficit, and through the door. I'm talking about people talking about, well, like I be talking about, what's your thoughts on religion, so on and so forth. Black people coming through the door. I told his brother I was in prison one time. He just came, he just was brought in, and I would see him moving around. And I pulled him to the side. I said, listen, young man. I see you running around different places. I say, this is the wrong place to be searching for an identity, because there someone will give it to you. And the deal is, again, without an identity, and everything about black people, I mean, what they done to us. I'm talking about, and excuse me, what they done and what they do to us, and they can see it when the gutting. You know what I'm saying? Like you heard the term a shell of a man, a shell of a woman, and physically to be there. But open to look in the eyes, like to walk, you know what I'm saying, and they grab certain forces. When they, you know what I'm saying, you come, like you say, man, you can't afford that, to eat that, you can't do this. You talk about different, okay, even we talk about when the colonizers, when they came in contact with the indigenous, the native people, there was, aside from the intentional diseases that they, you know what I'm saying, they put on the native people, you know, the intentional, just alone coming in contact, we're talking about the smallpox and everything. Just that clash. There were countless of native people that died or better yet were murdered just for coming in contact with this foreign dynamic. When you talk about different, you know, the sister that just mentioned earlier about hazing, these are different you know, tactics, and they're backed with a how can I say this? They're backed with the it's state sanctioned. You know what I'm saying? Like I was, doing some reading, reading something about Hugh Hefner, the Playboy Club, and you know what I'm saying? And some young ladies writing a book now, but the backing of it was official. I'm not just talking about the legal. I'm talking about the politics of it, how we view it. Like, oh, that's cool. You know, you had cats, you know, rappers naming themselves. You have the mafioso. It was cool. And so you talking about the different. You hear terms like hazing. You hear different dynamics that if it was applied to another community, it would be called like gang recruitment, so on and so forth. So they come, and a lot of our people, they come in, they think they can engage in certain, like even certain religious institutions, religious walks of life. There's certain ways that people say, okay, this is how we define our relationships, so on and so forth. But again, with black people, we're deprived of any dynamic, you know what I'm saying? Soon as you have a conversation, people say, oh man, this is a gang, so on and so forth. So you get people who come from a generational, you know what I'm saying, have no, please don't down me, y'all. Okay, we're working on, I'm trying to stick with us. Oh, the Boxdale family in the building, right on. I see you, my brother, power to people. Yolanda Ville, I see you, my sister, power to the people, free them all, right on. You coming through the door, and that, they grab individuals who are like open, like vessels, you know what I'm saying? Who not only just open vessels that they can pour into whatever they want. That's the term colonize. like in Vietnam, you can look at different periods of time. You say, why this generation like this sort of food? Why this generation speak this sort of language? You know what I'm saying? Colonized, you may have a physical shell, but you're having an aspiration of another people. So you're talking about just the whole dynamic. It's a culture, it's a politic to Rome. You know what I'm saying? It's how like even sexuality. Caesar had a tactic, you know what I'm saying? A brother told me one time, he said, Chairman, you're one of the few leaders I've ever come into contact with that does not have the Caesar tactic. I said, what do you mean by that? How Caesar, even how they view sexual, like rape and all this, it was a I would say it's a psychological crap. It was a political maneuver that he would do something to his men to have something over them. And it may be conducive for their ecosystem, their climate, whatever. When you come into a community and you have people coming in aspiring to be part of these different, you know what I'm saying, these different entities, these respective communities, you see the clash with it. And that's a discussion that one of America's policies is to create chaos and then restore order. So destroy all, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying, destroy all, okay. Okay. I got. Let me see what I got here. I got. It's the Android cord, I think. Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Good try. Okay. Appreciate it. So, I really want to get the sister's question about that. And I'll tell you, know, so we don't like. I was watching something, an old skit. Maybe a Sanford and Son skit, and this whole dynamic about, you know, we Americans, so on and so forth, and you know what I'm saying, that whole dynamic of who we are, that identity, and it's a recruitment field in the movie industry, the police, the police agencies, so on and so forth, the college campuses. You know what I'm saying? When people come in, you have this entity right there say it might be certain commonalities. Say, okay, that's natural. People want you want to bond with other people. You know what I'm saying? You want to see you seek out certain commonalities. And a lot of times when there's nothing else, you say, well, okay, that food, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you go, it's nothing. And we're taught to believe that contradictions are, it's bad to even mention them. Like, you know what I'm saying? You go. Like even in the prison, you can tell like who cooked the food. You go to certain place, and say, man, hold on, we make a joke about the potato salad. And then that when you're starving, you say, well, this I can relate to this, and then you try to identify with another culture, and you see that, and then I tell you, you see it's a contradiction, and in many cases it becomes antagonistic contradictions, because the deal is, at the end of the day, when people do all that, you know what I'm saying, you see so many entertainers, so many athletes, you see people try to change their names, and you see the reality check. You see what Whoopi Goldberg. She got comfortable with the leader. She was part of this. This whole thing about we the women against the men, and you seen that reality check. You seen that reality. See, it can go so far, but at some stage in the game, and many times when that's one of the I want to say characteristics. Some people might say advantages. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that when you have money, you have resources, you can blend along with, you know what I'm saying? You can blend in. You can be set. They talk about like even the golf club. They say one club that O.J. Simpson was a part of. They say it was so elite, so detached. They say we thought one of the white dudes. They say we thought Orenthal was one of us. But it's, you know, the point that you really start identifying, and you know what I'm saying, and that's like people, and not that people can't afford. If you come in through the door, you can't relate. Like the Rainbow Coalition, brother I mentioned earlier. The deal is, a lot of people, they take it so lightly. Chairman Fred was clear who he was. He was able to go and deal with the different, you know what I'm saying, the different dynamics. You know what I'm saying, deal with the race and the class contradiction. If you're not clear who you are, I tell you, I don't recommend everybody eat Chinese food. I don't. Because you're not clear who you are. You feel what I'm saying? So you're gonna get more swallowed up. So you coming through the door. It's like a making a meal. You gotta say, wait a minute, what's the base? You know what I'm saying? We'll throw some beef broth in there, throw some the different season, the broth. But you say, wait a minute, what's the meal? The chicken. You know what I'm saying? You say, that's the base of it. But you talking about a community that's been. I mean, you like The Walking Dead. Go look at these individuals. They come in, no frame of reference, no identity, no backup. You can't go to no block. You can't go to no block club party. You ain't clear. You ain't got no solid address. You come out there and like, man, who you? That's Miss Jones' son. He clear he's Miss Jones' son. So he can go along with the barbecue kid. Then who this other guy? Oh, he's like a vagabond. He just hangs out everywhere. You open season. You prime picking. You prime picking. Anybody can grab you whenever you like a mercenary who's whatever agenda that somebody want to push, throw you right here. Sammy Davis Jr. But man, more than the different dynamics. Confused. A lot of these youngsters, y'all be talking about their sexuality. They not identifying with they confused. See, an identity. And you don't play football. You say, okay, man, hold on, who is that? That's the wide receiver. That person plays for that team. Walk out there on the football field with a vagueness, talking about, well, man, no, who you identify, what you identify, but we're taught to believe that it's intact. Oh, you tripping, you being attacked, you being racist, just to even say that you black. To relate to that, and it opens a conversation a lot of us really don't want to have. You can see the disdain. As I said earlier, you can see that. The conditions. You know what I'm saying? Because the reference is maybe a reactionary when it being related to the black community. As we said on so many occasions, a lot of people are black when it's beneficial, play Panther when it's profitable, claim Cub when it's comfortable. If your man can switch up and jump in, and that's why you see one of the dynamics about this. Well, now with modern technology and different dynamics, people can help work on it. But other communities are able to relate, can ease in more with the identity of the ruling class. Look at the images. You think it's a coincidence? Look at the individuals they give you for your representatives of the black community. It's a reactionary assessment of being black. You don't even know you don't need no DNA test to see these people have no connection to the black community. None. You see, what I'm saying? Again, and you will see it come out under certain conditions. You say, wait a minute, that's not, you know what I'm saying? And it's certain things that may be, like you look at India, you know what I'm saying? You got to take into account the culture. Two men walk down the street with hands holding. It's conducive with the climate in the community. You look, it's different. It's certain dynamics that may roll on certain part of the west side that don't roll on the south side. It's certain. It's even with dogs. It's the German Rottweiler. That's the American Rottweiler. It's a certain bone structure. You go to the vet want to know. Wait a minute. What you know what I'm saying? What type of dog am I talking about? But with us, anytime you even mention a difference, you're talking. Oh, you being bad just to even acknowledge that. And then, so now you open season. You don't push that to the back. You know what I'm saying? You open for anybody, any agenda that comes. You know what I'm saying? Whatever religious institution, whatever race that. Say, okay, you got 2 arms, 2 legs. You can identify with me. You hopping around, and you being used as a political football for different people's agendas. You see, when they asked Obama during the election, do you identify as American or being black? Told them through the man. You listen to people. They tell you they will go with their gender, their religion, anything except relating to the black community. And then their reality hit. It was an old song, Willie D. the Ghetto Boys. He's still a nigga. He said at the end of the day, Paul Mooney made a joke about Tiger Woods. This whole thing, Caucasian ablation. But the repercussions, when the repercussions come down. This is Melissa Crawley. I see you, free them all. Yes, indeed. Brother Bobby in the building, free them all. Then a lot of times in our community, we be so open arms. You know, so like, oh man, yeah, they come at our brother. You know, man. So a lot of people relate to Michael Jackson first. It don't make a difference if you black or white. Don't make a difference. Then you see when that case came down, then the tune changed. They don't really care about us. So we're under heated conditions. It's like cooking. He said, man, the heat on. Yeah, the fire's on. The burger's hot now. And most people relate to the black community when that heat is on. Why you think that O.J. Simpson case? That was a strategic move that Johnny Cochran did. Like, good, got Nation Islam for security. I said, next move, He was gonna do what O.J. Simpson was gonna say, listen, go grow a goatee, go change your name. Go. They changed the pictures in his house. Yeah. Force feed him. Quick. But given the opportunity, what? It's a show. It's a documentary of O.J. Simpson. They show, what I liked about it, they show what was going on throughout the whole world. Bob Hope said, man, the whole world is in uproar. People are talking about race, everything. But we have Orenthal just right here with us today, sitting down. He was disconnected. And you know, and they entertain us. You see they duck and dodge the question. People surprised at Edwin Wayne about Black Lives Matter. No, listen to who he talk about. After he shot himself, he remembers Uncle Bob, the white man. He said all he seen was Negro. And you think the record industry don't know that about him? You think when they grab these individuals, they know how they have a psychological profile. Even the person don't know it. They keep records on, the vet keep records on dogs. They say the dogs, a family come get them. They say, no, now this dog was involved. Better yet, cars. Let's go with cars. After Hurricane America, a lot of people call it Hurricane Katrina. We say, man, let's call it what it is. Hurricane America. I know the 504 in the building right now, you know what I'm saying? New Orleans, you know what I'm saying? In particular. There are cars that they sold, different places. And the car, what you call them car pounds, they said, wait a minute, this is a great deal. But they said, now listen now, be careful with your fuel pump. There's water damage. You know what I'm saying? You like, I didn't see that. This car looks great on the outside. Oh no, this car has been in a certain period of time. It's important. What period were you born in? What agency took you? Why you think in crisis in Haiti, they send the missionaries over to go grab them babies? It's a person. Matter of fact, this Sunday, y'all. What time is it? Somebody please let me know what time this is. This Sunday, in front of the 11th and Brother Post been in studio with me today. I thought he put me in the studio with me today. This Sunday, the protesters at the DCFS, y'all, they got children. They got the juvenile detention center. Black children who are held up in. This is right now. They said that they now mind you, under tenure of Mayor Lightfoot, they just opened up on 63rd, I think Woodlawn, a school, and opened up. They brought all the May across the May from the border. They redone it, opened them up. I mean, I'm talking about less than 20 overnight. But the children who don't have a home, a place to stay in, they took those children are being housed. Not being housed, they being jailed up in the juvenile detention center. You know what type of the damage was going to happen to these are the children. They said that's where we're going to keep them at. This happening right now. This going to be a protest this Sunday, y'all. The time, it's on the flyer, my fault. It's on the Fremont flyer. That's on the flyer today. I'm moving too fast. So it's on the flyer today. So y'all, that's this Sunday. Y'all make sure y'all get on out there this Sunday. The address is on there. Our brother Adolfo came in today, man. I don't know. You might have inboxed me, but that's today. What time? How we looking on time? What time is?
8:15.
Okay. Any more callers in queue? Y'all forgive me. I lost on Instagram. I was skipping this. I was moving too fast earlier. Any more callers in queue? Sister Comrade?
Fremont, brother.
Fremont.
This was the queue. Callers, if you'd like to come into queue, please press 1. Fremont.
Fremont. Well, any questions y'all want to have? We down the countdown. We gonna close out in a minute. That's Sunday.
Oh, brother,
Fremont's Comrade.
I'm sorry. Well, there was a call in queue, then it dropped.
Okay.
Wait a minute when they call back.
I got you. So that's this Sunday, y'all. We need people out there this Sunday. The juvenile detention center. That's right. They got those children. Yeah. And if nothing else, you say, well, what they got to do with me? Oh, it got a lot to do with us. The impact was what this happened to these children that's down there in the juvenile detention. They ain't no, well, they shouldn't have been doing this. The state not even, they not even framed them. They saying they don't have the space. You know what I'm saying? They just opened up, they just did a whole school recently. Whole school. That is not even talking about the bandits. I mean, man, make it a school, make it a class project. Take some of these people out there to build some houses. It's an agenda to produce a certain sort of child, certain sort of adult. Frederick Douglass said, it's easier to rear good children, it's easier to rear whole children as opposed to repairing broken adults. Frederick Douglass said that. It's easier. I can't tell you how many people they come to me with their cousins and friends. Chairman, make this, do this, make this person like a revolutionary. Man, listen, my last name is Hampton, not Houdini. I say, man, you just can't. You go to the auto mechanic. That's why they do them. They put them machines on. Man, what's the background with this car? Man, I don't know why my car won't start. Man, this cop in the water. You gotta take all that into account. You gotta take that into account. You go down to get one of them, the dogs from the shelter. They go like, hold on. So sir, we rescued this dog. This was in a fighting ring, so we saying it's good around other people. Do not let this dog around other dogs. They don't let you know that. You like, well, no, is dog a Virgo or Capricorn? This dog, they're gonna say, sir, this dog was involved in a fighting ring. This dog has been conditioned a certain way. We don't know what's gonna trigger it, but around humans, it's good. It's good, man. You have to acknowledge that. Acknowledge that. When they grab them people, even these units, they said it was elite, the Scorpion unit, the elite unit, even the term, they was grabbing they knew which one they was grabbing. They know what to put in the visitor room. They know what police to put in our community. They know. They have a psychological. They say, man, dude was notorious. One of them was notorious with the hazing. So they walk. Listen. People say, oh, I don't believe they do. You do it. You get in the Uber. You see the dude doing. You say, oh, this dude here, he ain't working on full deck. You know what? Let me cancel this ride. You pick up on it. You ain't got no psychiatry degree. Go into the lounge or something. Can't walk up on one of them sisters. She like, oh, hey, hold on. Sheila, you don't like dude? No, man, we bounce about this joint. You psychological, he ain't said nothing. Psychological profiling. You pick up on it. You think them people with all the machinery they got, they don't know who they put in our communities? They flood us with loose cannons. You think them people don't know the damage everyone is entertainers, them rappers, the hatred they got for black people? You think that's a coincidence? They not only know it, they created it. They go right and say, no, like over a box of damaged goods. Nope. Now, hit that one up. That's your new rapper. That's the one we want y'all to emulate. That's who we want y'all chasing behind. Man, such got 1,000 hits on this YouTube. He coming up. Who you think made him? They know who is this. If they had $1 million, they all that money, they know they're not going to connect to the community. Chan, why don't you talk to such and such, going to get them to help fund and support the work you're doing. I just laugh at a lot of people. I say, bless your heart. Bless your heart. Yes, indeed. Shout out to Big Red, Snap, and Beats, Hood Hierarchy. Y'all go check that interview out. It's on, I think they I get a call. It's on all outlets, I think. But Hood Hierarchy. Big Red, it's February 3rd or her birthday too. Am I being that's Sunday? I think she's doing her birthday. But check that interview out. A lot of people saying, which I agree, I think it's one of the best, so I don't say to myself, if not, one of the best interviews. Yeah. So Melissa, you can't share that. Yeah, I mean, it was therapeutic. I got the, and people say, what made that so? Is he a professional journalist? It's so you can see the respect. You could, what I'm saying? Black cats don't have no concept what a revolutionary is. Man, you better up telling them about interviewing somebody way up, on the moon. It's a foreign language. Like they came no concept. When they say that movie Tone Deaf, like you be trying to talk to him, be shoop. Yeah, the programs we do. One time the lady was interviewing me. I'm talking. She said, "That's really great what you and Black Lives Matter are doing." I said, "Am I talking too fast? What did she get down saying Black Lives Matter?" She couldn't even hear me say Black Panther Party Cubs. Well, that's tone deaf. That interview with Beats is a whole different dynamic. A lot of people they can't hear me until the conditions hit. They're heat. They incapable. Man, I hear what you saying, that champ. Oh, you don't say. you don't say. Yeah. We welcome the conditions. Yeah. See, go back and look at the 60s. He's like, man, the 60s. Yeah, go look at them cats. A lot of them cats in 68, 67. Man, that stuff, man. Shh. Man, that heat coming down, man. Every time I drafting you gonna fight, you gonna die. Man, hey, hold on, man. Yeah, it's system bogus. Now we talking. Now we talking. And that's the conditions have to be in, you know what I'm saying? He turned more than me black, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all check that, repost it up. Great calls from New Orleans. Great calls from all over, man. But again, that was, man, yeah. I hope I answered the question, sister. She did too, but right on. If not, let's follow up again next week, y'all. Same time, same station. Let's tune in. It's been making history, taking history, taping history. I keep y'all posted. As I say, I live out a suitcase. I don't know where they get me going. I'm saying, man, again, condolences to the Nichols family. You know what I'm saying? Condolences, Craig Alexander's condolences to every loss one way or another that all of us is taking. You know what I'm saying? We say the people's pain reflects. The people's pain reflects. Show body in the building. I gotta check. I got that. You did one too, man. I gotta check yours. I know y'all went in. I know y'all did. Hey, Show, we got people back up on our video drops, man. Show body, man, flood that thing. Chop it. Do what you do. I ain't gonna tell you what you do, man. August 30th, y'all be back on deck, man, for the Chamber Fred Street Party. On February, every Friday at the on 5th, I'm gonna be doing a movie once a Friday in Maywood. What's the play on 5th? I forgot the location. But I keep y'all posted, though. We got some big events coming up, too, though, y'all. We going to flood it. Heads up, eyes on the fist clench, y'all. What's the call? Free them all. Sister Comrade, what you got to take us out with?